Not that monster!
This video will contain spoilers for Amnesia the Bunker. So, it's 1916, World War I is in full swing, and worst of all, you're French. How can this get any worse? Well, the developers at Frictional Games clearly have thought this question through, as on top of all of these things, they've locked you in a bunker with a supernatural horror that wants to rip your face off. Not the best situation to be in. Amnesia the Bunker is Frictional Games' latest horror romp in the Amnesia series, released June 6th, 2023 to pretty favourable reviews from every man and his dog. It is quite the departure from the other games in the series, which admittedly I haven't played, but the focus is gameplay first and foremost, and in a move most didn't expect, you have multiple ways to defend yourself, something that is entirely new to an Amnesia game. Revolver, grenades, Molotov cocktails, and eventually a shotgun, but more on this later. The choice of World War I France is brilliant for a horror game because aside from being French, which is horrific enough, the entire setting is horror. The First World War is the perfect example of an entire setting being unsettling and horrific. The whistle of shells landing overhead, machine gun fire, and distant screams. The devs may have locked you in with a supernatural horror, however you are working your way to return to a man-made one above. So of course, a dark, dingy bunker is the perfect setting. So, what's the bunker all about? Well, as previously mentioned, it's World War I, and you have the misfortune of being French foot soldier Henry Clement, or Henri Clement. After a tutorial segment of storming German trenches and being gassed for your trouble, as well as attempting to rescue Henri's friend Lambert from no man's land, resulting in him being knocked unconscious, Henry, or Henri, is granted suffering from a series favourite dose of amnesia. You awake in the dark and dingy bunker all by yourself, no one else is around, and as you explore, you find a wind-up dynamo flashlight that requires constant recharging and makes as much noise as revving up a chainsaw. But no living soul. No one is to be found until you stumble upon this fine fellow, who immediately gives you a revolver and asks you to shoot him. He explains that the way out has been blown shut by the officers, who, in a daring manoeuvre, truly bold for the French, have run away, and you are trapped down here with some creature that has taken to remodeling the bunker's occupants' innards into outwards. However, as you get the ammo to put the smoking soldier down,
You'll never see it come down.
he's grabbed by said monster and dragged screaming into the wall. This encounter teaches us our overall goal: get the dynamite out of the arsenal, find a detonator handle to blow open the entrance and escape, as well as our obvious threat, which is the monster. So after all of this, you make your way to the admin office, just as the generator dies and the lights go out. The admin room is the only safe area in the entire game. The monster cannot get in there due to the metal doors that can be locked. It is also the only place to save on any difficulty above easy. There is a central map in the entire bunker here, which is the only central map, and a Resident Evil style storage box. The name of the game is Resource Management. In addition to this is the most important piece of equipment in Henri's arsenal, the generator. As this handy sign says, the beast doesn't like light, so if you want to avoid your innards becoming a modern art piece, keep it on. You do this by collecting fuel from around the bunker to keep the lights on. However, there is a finite amount of fuel, so plan your trips carefully. Thankfully, the game gives Henri a wind-up watch that is linked to the amount of fuel the generator has left. However, this takes up inventory space. If you don't keep the generator on, it is pitch black. You can't see 3 feet in front of yourself, leaving you vulnerable to being punched in the dark by the monster, which is a victimless crime. The monster becomes bolder in the dark and will actively come out of the walls to hunt you and explore. Whereas when the lights are on, he'll stay out and only investigate loud noises. Sound is a massively important factor. Too much noise rings the dinner bell for the beast. Your only tools in defense of the dark, the noisy dynamo flashlight, torches, and flares. However, the flashlight is loud enough to lure even the deafest monster to your location if you overcrank it. Do you value being able to see, or do you value your insides staying on your insides? Light and sound is one of many interconnected systems. As well as this, the crafting system allows you to create certain objects for what you scavenge. These range from cloth, bandages, chunks of wood, grenades, fuel, flares, and glass bowls, which in turn allows you to craft items that can clear your way or defend you from the monster. Do you use the fuel you find to make Molotov cocktails, or to fuel the generator to keep the lights on? This allows you to make these kind of decisions based on how you would like to problem solve and the resources you have to hand. In short, resource management is king. Alongside this, you can find bullets in certain places for your revolver. However, the game isn't unique in that, yeah, sure, you can shoot the monster, but you can't kill it. However, the revolver is a good tool as a last line of defense if you can't run or hide from the beast. But this does beg the question. Do you use your valuable bullets to defend yourself, which can cause the beast to run off, but you may need to use more bullets next time? Or do you problem solve by shooting padlocks off locked doors or shoot explosive barrels to either defend yourself or clear away? Also, reloading the revolver is very slow and methodical, meaning you load each round individually and use both hands, not something you want to be doing under pressure, which also means if you have the flashlight in your other hand, you put it away and are left in the dark, so you can't fucking see. As well as this, there are rats all over the bunker that will get in your way, usually eating a dead body. If you try and get past, they will gnaw your legs off, either resulting in death or injury, which can lead the monster to you, as it can spell you bleeding. It can block your way to escape from the monster as well. Fortunately, crafting goes hand in hand with this. Got a Molotov cocktail or a torch? Assuming you've got the lighter, you can burn the dead body to disperse the rats, or use the torch to ward them off briefly. Failing that, you can throw meat to distract them. Sometimes the monster itself can kill or disperse the rats. On top of this, certain dead bodies you can find dog tags that contain codes to lockers in central storage. These contain various useful items and consumables such as a lighter, a wrench, the lockdown wheel, which you can't miss, and a gas mask. However, apart from a few set tags, they can be in different places around the bunker and the codes are always different, to encourage replayability. The only item that isn't locked away in a locker is the bolt cutters. They're a prison style instead. If all of this wasn't enough, a large portion of the bunker is trapped. In a vain attempt at a last defense from your slain compatriots, these traps are very easy to run into and will set them off, resulting in an explosion, gas cloud, or a flare going off. All of which are certain to attract the attention of the beast. The only saving grace is that you can get the beast to set these off as well. But fortunately you can jump over any tripwire and eventually disarm them using bolt cutters. All of these things connect together to create a tense but objective-driven scenario. This creates a perfect mix of interconnecting features that truly make this game terrifying. The game on average should take about 4 or 5 hours to complete. It took me 35. I was very slow making progress because I'm a massive bitch. It manages to achieve all of this through the perfect blend of these interconnected systems at play. On top of this, the sound design is top notch. You can hear the monster crawling through walls and vents, and stomping around when it's in the open. Shells landing overhead and shaking the bunker. Even the ambient noise is enough to put you on edge. And Henri, as a voice actor, surely needs a raise for how blood-curdling his screams are. The game isn't a one-trick pony either. There are about 3 to 4 scripted scares in the game, on top of the game's overall established dynamic encounters that you get through playing. One thing I failed to mention that is crucially important, probably should have been earlier in the video, but first time making a video like this, so, you know. As you've probably noticed, the lights become seemingly randomly intermittent around the bunker. Well, this is to indicate that the monster is nearby, so it does pay to keep the lights on as an early warning of its approach. Flashing lights means bad shit on the way. So, to recap your basic objectives. To get the explosives, you need to get into the armory. Only problem is, in the officers' heroic French retreat, they left it locked and only they know the code. Fortunately, one of them is repeating the code on the radio, so you need to get the power on in communications before you can finally get into the armory and get the explosives. This also allows you to drain the way to the Roman tunnels to get the detonator handle. Big spoiler warning, skip ahead if you want to avoid. So, for those of you who haven't skipped, remember the shotgun I mentioned? Well, in the Roman tunnels there's a soldier who's gone mad. He's removed his eyes and he's roaming the halls shotgun in hand, singing.
It all gets lost in a terrible twirl. Can't see the sun for all the black smoke. Can't see the dirt for all the dead folk. Can't see the ocean, can't see the trees. So here I stay, down on my knees. Singing and singing.
He will kill you on sight. This encounter replaces your supernatural foe with a human one, which is the only time this happens in the game. However, it is still the same terrifying game of cat and mouse that you play until you can get the drop on him.
It all gets lost in a bloody twirl.
Unlike the beast, you can actually kill him to claim the shotgun. The cool thing to note about this entire encounter is, aside from removing another Frenchman from the world, if you don't have the gas mask, you see spectres in the fog and hear strange noises, which can be misleading when you're trying to hunt down the madman. However, if you do have a gas mask by now, you don't experience any of this, all sound becomes muffled and it's harder to hear the madman and judge his distance, but this does let you get the detonator. So originally I was going to do an in-depth discussion on the story, but then I figured it's probably better that if you just play the game and figure the story out yourself. It's really not that deep. It is good, I assure you, but it's not that deep, so there's no reason for me to pick it apart at the seams. So I'll do a very brief overview, so spoiler warning here. Henri is eventually able to recover the dynamite and detonator and blasts the exit. However, instead of opening the tunnel, Henri accidentally falls deeper into the Roman ruins, where he has one final confrontation with the beast. Henry eventually manages to make it to the surface. If he fails to kill the beast, it escapes with him before running off into no man's land. However, the war is still going on. Either way, Henry falls into a shell crater just as the German patrol begins to approach, leaving his fate uncertain. So, all in all, do I recommend Amnesia the Bunker? Absolutely, it is one of the best horror experiences I've had in a long time. It doesn't rely on set pre-made scares to make you uncomfortable. That is achieved by the stress of inventory management, being French, the worry you're being too loud, the best sound design I've heard in a horror game ever, and the dreaded sound of the beast pulling itself through the walls, as well as the dread in your stomach when it appears or you have to run from it. It is masterfully crafted and achieves peak scare factor through interconnected systems in play to make a terrifying yet compelling experience. Whilst being light on the story, relying on you to find notes around the bunker, the story that is there is really compelling. I rate this 10 baguettes, 3 snails and a frog out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do check out this game. It will scare you, as it should, but you will have a good time. I hope this video came out well. It's a new style of editing for me, and I hope to continue to do this with the occasional video in my old style. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, it could be worse. You could be French.
Hey, yo, the pizza here. Oh! My ears burn!